Hello, hello. Hi. We're going to work on kast more today. We have how many days are there in November? 30, which means that I will have 3 more days before the advent of code. Right? Three more days. Okay. So yesterday I think we actually are done with the macro hygiene that I was struggling with. I think, but I'm not sure. We did still have some failing tests, but that is because in the process of like changing my code, there were some issues that were revealed. That is because they were not actually working properly before. Hello, Nerdsoul. So we have these two tests that are failing, the variant types and the context shadowing. Context shadowing is because of the way context system is working. And variant types is because of a different thing. Let's work on them one by one. Let's start with contexts, I guess. So here's the example, right? So here's the problem. The context is supposed to go. The context is supposed to like basically contexts are like implicit arguments to functions. Whenever I call in a function, it should be passed into the function, right? But right now I am basing them on the same scopes that I was as like the variables themselves. So this function inside is trying to get the current string. So we must have a string inside the context, but this function is capturing the context. I mean, is capturing like the environment of this scope, the global scope here, right? And this string here is being introduced into this scope. So like the scope system of context and the scope system of like variables is different, basically. And we need to fix that. So previously I was just storing the context in the like interpreter directly, but I guess it was almost correct. But now like because like the kast like structure that I have here is like being cloned around, it's supposed to be like reference counted, and whenever I modify it, all the clones are not modified automatically. In order for like them to modify simultaneously, I need to use like synchronized stuff, kind of, right? Which means that like the contexts, which are going to be part of the interpreter state, actually, contexts. So previously they were just contexts. What are they, just contexts? What is this? No, not context. This is like the type of the context, I think. What I want is the context state. Context state. That's what I want. So the context state, because I'm going to modify it, is supposed to be behind a mutex and then arc, I guess. So we do park, mutex, context state, I guess. Right? I think so. So context is arc new, mutex new, context state default, like that. Context state default, otherwise it's being used here. So scopes should not have context inside, because that is like done differently now. Okay, we do that. get runtime context. That one is supposed to get it from the current thing. Yeah, whatever. Remove that. So let's see. In order to get the current context, I will like say just like before, interpreter context, and then I lock unwrap, and then I get runtime based on type. Rewrite it in assembly. Rewrite what in assembly? Hello there. Non-existent 1945. I'm guessing you're joking because no sane person would ever rewrite anything in assembly. Is there anyone who is actually writing assembly seriously in this world at this point? I think like assembly is a dead language. No one uses it. Inject context. Self interpreter contexts dot lock unwrap insert runtime context. Okay. Over here, I do not do that at all. This macro with context. I'm inserting the compile time context here. Yep. Interpreter. Contexts. Lock, unwrap. Insert compile. Kast. Interpreter. Context. Lock. Unwrap. Get runtime. Contexts here in the scopes, they don't exist anymore, and then that is it. Okay, let's see if this works now. It will not work. I'm pretty sure this is not... Well, I mean, it's going to work. Maybe. It actually did work, but the reason it worked is incorrect. Let's have a test that, like, changes this. So the problem is that this should not compile, not context available. I mean, it should not only not compile, it should also not like evaluate, right? So this, but this thing right now, let's see, just run examples context shadow. Because on this line, I do not have the context in my current scope because it went out of scope over here because we have like this fake scope, right, with the parentheses. But it actually still holds the last assigned thing, which is incorrect. So it means that when I'm entering the scope, it should like be a reference to the new thing, basically. Which means that I have the function enter scope over here. So when I'm entering the scope, I am changing the scopes, and also I'm saying that context of the interpreter is mutex clonable? Inner interpreter context. If I do a reference here, and then I clone that, I guess normal mutex is not clonable, right? Yeah. they say use lock and wrap to borrow the stage, but locking the current thread is required. So like we need to actually like lock and wrap, clone, and then like construct a new mutex. Lock, unwrap, clone, and then we do park new mutex kind of thing. Boom, 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 boom. Do, 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 do. Cannot assign because it is borrowed. Or occurs due to the deref coercion to the mutex. Wait, what? Borrow occurs due to deref coercion to the mutex. Over here. Okay, well, I mean, technically I'm cloning self, so you can like get it from self then. It doesn't matter, it's the same thing. And then if I try to run, then it's going to be fixed. Right? Those like the first two work, and this one says that the string context is not available, which is like expected. It's supposed to not compile, not only not run, but also not compile. Dev Ninja, hello, hello. Let's improve the test since Dev Ninja just joined. Test context shadow. So I will test context shadow that is like and it's like supposed to fail, right? With missing context, right? So normal context shadow, I will comment lines starting with sure. How about I do this? Comment lines is option books high function stir full. About that. Something like this. Such a useful redeem, wasting points indeed. Comment lines. Some function if function with line, then how that works. Comment lines. Comment lines starting with is going to be replaced with comment lines. And then over here, it's not going to be some, it's going to be some books, new line trim, starts with sure. And do that, and then And then missing context. So missing context is supposed to panic, right? Which means that I'm going to try test here. Try test returns a result. And then I'm going to unwrap error, because this is supposed to error. This one is the one with the missing context, and this one is without. Unwrap error. This one is supposed to be try test. Let error is this. And then what? Then we'll do something like that. Where we do that, and then we assert that the error contains the fact that context not available, right? So something like string context not available. How can I make it not sucking that hard? What? That test here? Does this test suck? I don't know. I don't think so. Okay, just test. This is not going to work right now because over here I'm supposed to comment line this one. I'm going to comment line, which is line contains something something. Where's my code for the context shadow? This should not compile, right? Should not compile. So this line that it should not compile should be like completely not, should completely not exist. But otherwise, it says that string context not available, so it's panicking. And like by commenting that line, it's not going to panic anymore. And then there's going to be only one test that is now failing, the variant types. Nice. Fix contexts. Okay. Now the problem with variant types is a little bit different. Let's see here. The problem is not with the types themselves, but with this thing. If value is some value. So this is the analogy in Rust. This is the if let some value be value, right? So what this does is it introduces the value as a binding with same name in this case to the actual value, but we have a conditional pattern matching basically, right? It's kind of similar to a single like branch in a match, but it's supposed to be more flexible than that, because we are supposed to say something like if value is some value and value is equal to like hello, because like in this case, well, after the end, this value corresponds to the unwrapped value already, not to the optional one, right? So in Rust, this feature is called let chains, I guess. Let chains in Rust Let's take a look at the proposal here, because I'm pretty sure it's merged, right? Is it merged? Is it going to be stabilized soon? I think it's going to be stabilized soon, no? I heard something about stabilization. This is merged. Rust issue. Track an issue. If and while let chains take 2. No, it still is open. The original stabilization PR 3 weeks ago. Stabilization PR now is reverted and related issues to reflate my memory. I found 2 possible stabilization blockers. Syntactic rejection is maybe not complete. Okay. Oh, raid. Wait, did I not hear the raid again? Because I am muted. Hi. Hello, raiders. Butoshi codes. How are you doing? What did you code? Having fully autonomous AI marketer agent on Twitter. AM commits it differently when you're programming the reality itself. You're programming the reality itself? No way. Check the terminal. The terminal where? I'm not sure what I'm supposed to look here. I don't understand this. This is Twitter. I don't use Twitter. How to use this shit? Where am I supposed to look? That's your profile. This is the terminal, I guess. The link. I don't understand what I'm looking at. I might be too stupid for that stuff. The AI bot is hooked up to the terminal. It acts as its world interface. You can just give commands and get the logs. That's how it's doing with the Twitter. I don't understand what this means. Get mentions. I mean, it's getting the mentions of itself on Twitter or something. I still don't understand what is this about. I'm not really too much into AI or into like crypto stuff, to be honest, or into Twitter. Not using Twitter. But thank you for the raid anyway. So I can hear a programming language, and I have the problem right now where my test is failing because I have a little bit of a bug with my conditional pattern matching in the form of the is expression. So the is expression is something that's trying to pattern match a value against a pattern. So this pattern here is trying to see if the value is some value, right? So if it's not none, basically. And the problem is that it's injecting this binding into the global scope, which means that this binding, like the value, is like leaking outside of the if. And when I'm matching this here, this has the type of a string, even although it should have the type of an optional string when I'm outside of this if. The value, this thing, is the same name but a different binding, and it's supposed to only be available inside the if. But also, I wanted to like see how do they do this in Rust, especially because like the is statement, I think that there was like a separate thing where like is like they proposed the is operator in Rust at some point too. The is operator introduces binding. The expression is pattern, right? This expression confusingly introducing a binding, and that it could be misconstrued as an equality test of some sort. Is doesn't make any sense as we already have if let, and is in another language is typically a reference to equality check. I still think that is better, and we don't have the if let. Yes, I dislike the expression is pattern syntax because it's the wild word let in case there is some binding going on. The word is especially checking whether the expression fits the pattern without binding. I don't know. Anyway, that's not the problem. My question was Swift. Swift is also if let. Okay. Down. This is an RFC, yeah. This is all the RFCs, so like all the proposals to the Rust programming language to change something in the Rust programming language. There's a lot of them. Alex Def Luffy, hello. Why does it say I dislike? Because this is the replies of some people. So like when RFC happens, like people discuss it, and like there were people who are saying that the is expression is like some people think that, right? It's just like quoting some comments, right? It's just references. Many participants of the survey opined, which means expressed opinion, I guess, right? That the proposed syntax was considered kind of Rust. Downtown. Using NixOS. Yes, I am using NixOS. Okay, if let chain. It doesn't matter if the syntax is or if let. The actual question is that if we do let, and then after that we do end, right? So that's the actual proposal, the let chain, which means that you do a pattern match, and then if the pattern match succeeded, then you can access this pattern inside like the Boolean like expression immediately, right? So this says the chain, which means that the AND operator, right? I was wondering if they actually allow the OR operator. Like imagine the code like this, where I say something like if something is, I don't know. Let's say that if A is some X, or B is some X, you know? So like we have like two pattern matches happening. One of them is going to succeed in case like of the entire like condition succeeding, right? So inside of the body of the if, we will have the X as a binding, right? Or I mean, if we're writing Rust, then it would be like if let some X is A, or some X is B, right? Or let some X is B. Like, do they support that or not? What about DNF? It's about like, do they support like, because the let chain means that it's about the end operator and not about the or. Because we're supposed to chain in case like the pattern matching succeeds, then we do something else with the bindings of the pattern already being in scope, basically, right? If I search for this, especially in the reference as expression operator, the following operators all have a lower precedence than and. Or this. To be precise, the changes of this RFC entail that or has the lowest precedence at the top level of the if stuff. The operator and has then the second lowest precedence that binds more tightly than or. If the user wants to be disambiguate, then can write expression and expression or expression and expression explicitly. The same applies to while conditions. A few more examples. So they say if let pattern be F or false. What? This is just about the parsing. This is what I'm thinking about, right? This will both become hard errors. To enable the second interpretation of the previous section, a warning must be emitted in the Rust 2015, informing the user that if let pattern be expression or expression. Question mark? What? Will both become hard errors? Isn't this the let chain? Why is this hard error? I mean, without them being stabilized. Note that this applies where there's a list 1, this or that. Down. Oh, I see. It's like because this was binding more than the let, maybe. What's the overall user experience like? I also am lost because I'm new to Rust. NixOS is nice, but it has a high learning curve, and so is Rust. Rust also has a high learning curve, but it's also nice. Once you know Rust, you know that there is nothing better than Rust. Yet, right? We are making something here. I mean, maybe there are something that do some things better. Like there are some more like higher level type stuff in languages like Haskell or like some languages with dependent types. Yeah. The semantics of the if-let change can be understood as by an in-surface language desugaring and if-let. The following if-let pattern and this and this and this can be eased into that. Okay. What about the or? They don't want to show me the or. Currently on Arch Linux. Yeah, I was on Arch Linux before NixOS too. Let's see this here. Keeping the door open for if-let or expressions. Okay, so if-let or is something that is not supposed. Should a user be able to write something like the following snippet? If let AX be expression 1 or let BX is expression 2, then do stuff with X. What does this expression even mean? It means that one of the if one of the patterns match, then the first one of those will bind a value to X, and the expression evaluates to do stuff with X. If no patterns match, the expression instead evaluates to do other stuff. The RFC does not propose such a facility, but does not foreclose such a possibility, making a future-proof and allowing discussions. Okay. I'm thinking that maybe like I will not allow that, because I was thinking how do I even implement that? I'm not sure yet. But I guess I also don't really implement the like in my pattern matches. In a pattern, I cannot try multiple patterns right now, I think. Can I? I think I cannot. Instrument representation. Match. Or I guess pattern. Let's see what I have is in my patterns. It's a placeholder, binding, tuple, or variant. Yeah, so like one of the patterns is supposed to be to try multiple patterns like in order, right? And I don't have that right now. It's kind of similar maybe, but it's a little different at the same time. So I think that we're not going to support that either, just like Rust yet. But with the let's chain can work. But anyway, the problem is my is operator, right? If value is some nice value, is that an example? That is an example. Just run examples is. Cannot finish parsing underscore is line 4. Because this is supposed to be colon sum nice value, because I changed the syntax, I guess, and this also should be a test sum 69 test done. I think I don't even need parentheses there anymore. Okay, nice. Let's take a look at this example. This is the example that introduces the is operator, right? So this says is value is some nice value, then I print it out. Otherwise, I print none, right? So and then I call this function with some 69 and some none. And it's printing me 69 of int 32. That's what the dbg is doing. And then, yeah. So that looks correct. But what happens if I am going to outside of this if else? What if outside of this if else? I am going to say dbg nice value. So the thing is that it actually compiled, but then it said that it's not found, right? So like during the compilation, the compiler thinks that the nice value exists, and we only fail during interpretation. What was that? Follower goal? I had a follower goal apparently. Right, well, thank you for the following. All right. So we need this to not compile even. Right, and that's what I have, a bug. The way it works right now, if I have the is... What was that? Did it just do it again? The same alert? It's not supposed to trigger twice, is it? What happened again? Is someone like unfollowing and then following again? Guys, don't unfollow and then follow again. Is what is it called even in my code here? The is operator. Macro is, I guess that's what it's called. All right. Here you go. We basically compile the pattern, or we compile the pattern, and I compile the value. And then when I have the if macro, I guess when I have the if macro, it is So it was like injecting conditional bindings into the then case. In case the expression evaluates to true, we calculate what are the new bindings that we get there. But the problem with this, since I was working on the macro hygiene, is because it doesn't matter, and it's not inserting the bindings into this scope, but into the original scope. Or something like that. So whenever I inject bindings into the scope, all I'm doing is I am inserting it into the binding compiler scope. It doesn't matter what is my current scope is, because the compiler scope is stored inside the binding, and I'm capturing the compiler scope whenever I'm introducing the binding in a pattern. If that makes any sense. Dun, 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 dun. Du, 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 dun. I'm also injecting it into the interpreter scope, but that doesn't really matter. I also can just like remove the support for the is operator to make it easier. There's like also other things that we could have, something like I don't know, like I don't know, none is some underscore, right? None is sum is this, right? And then when I like debug none is sum, this is supposed to print false, right? It's supposed to print false, and it's printing false in the end here, right? So this is an expression that can be used outside of the if, right? Which is like checking if the value is matching a pattern. If I had a binding here, some x, right? Then like this binding x, should it be? It says it's not found. So if I have the bindings here, it's supposed to not inject that binding into this scope, right? Even if this pattern match succeeds. Only if this is being used in the inside the if conditions, right? So when I'm compiling this thing, I see that this is a binding over here. This is a pattern. Inside the pattern, I have this binding called nice value, and to like decide into which scope am I like injecting this, right? And like it's not just the body of the then block, right? Because I can have an end nice value is 69, right? Like something like this should also be possible, which means that it's not the only the scope of the of the then case. Or maybe the scope of the then case is the scope that is like starting with the condition together. So when I have the ifs thing, maybe like all of this is the same scope. Would that make sense? Let's say when I'm compiling the if, I'm going to so over here, you see how I'm compiling the condition, but compiling the condition should be happening basically already inside the then case, I guess, right? Let then scope be self enter scope. So I'm going to enter scope here, and then I'm going to say that the condition is going to be compiled using then scope, right? And then I'm going to say that the then case is compiling over here, and I don't need to enter the scope anymore, actually. But for the else case, I will enter the scope that is like parenting the original one. Okay. Yeah, I think so. So this is like then scope, compile then case. Would that be correct? So that code still works. If I say here now dbg nice value. So previously this was compiling, and now it's going to say that when I'm compiling the nice value is not found because this is not in the same scope anymore. If I try to use the nice value inside the else scope, this is also going to say that it's not existing, right? It's not found. Yeah, okay. I think this is correct. Let's just run examples, variant types. So this says string is not variant. Variant types 22. Let's see what's happening here. 22. So now like this code fails to compile. Why does this fail to compile? I'm trying to say this. And then it says that string is not variant because it's saying that this is of type string for some reason, right? Yes, because this compiles successfully because it thinks that the value is of type string for some reason still. Is this like something else? So if I say here that value is of type either type, it's going to complain about this line, right? About the type description at line 21, which is this line. It says that it's expected to be a string, but we got like the either type. So the value here is a string. Comp time dbg value. So it says that the value is a binding value of left or right, which is a neither type. What? That is correct. So this says match branch pattern. So this is the error when I'm trying to make the value type to be the same as the branched pattern type. Expression match. Maybe I'm not like doing something correctly. What am I not doing correctly though? It's the match stuff. It's also like I think I'm not testing the is example. Set that to tests. Test is does not exist. Let's say something like test is. This should be is. I'm not commenting any lines. The expected output is supposed to be 69 int 32 slash n slash n polls is a boolean. Yes. But the variant types are weird. You're saying that value. Let's try here. Value 2. Oh, what did I open? F1. Is that what I pressed? Value 2, value 2, value 2. Let's try that. So this says variant types line 23 over here. It says value. In this case, value is an optional. So like this value is this value, right? Because yeah, I say value 2 here. It's going to say that string is not variant because it failed to compile my function. It says that value 2, for some reason, it thinks that it is, say, value here. Does that change anything? That actually changes. That actually changes. So this now works correctly. But it's not supposed to be like that. So what's the problem? String is not variant. I guess it's because when I'm unwrapping over here on the right, maybe. I don't know. It's when I'm compiling. Match branch pattern. Match branch pattern. Is here. This is when I'm initializing the match expression. The result type. So the value type is the type of the value, right? That's over here. Say print value type is value type, right? Like value type is a string for some reason here, right? Value type is string. So we have two matches. We have value type, which is like some string or none, which is an optional string. That is in the first match, because I have two matches in this example, right? This is the first one. What happens if I completely remove this? It still says the string is not variant. Okay. That does not matter, I'm pretty sure. So value type is a string. Why is it a string? Why is it a string? Macro match. No. What did I do? Oh, it's GF. What does GF stand for? Go to the file under cursor. Yeah, I don't want that. Can I unbind that from Vim? So when I'm matching, I say that the value I'm trying to compile the value here. Oh, it's because I'm compiling. Okay, there you go. I'm compiling the branches first, and then I'm compiling the value, which is why the value in the last branch is the string, indeed. And I'm injecting the bindings here. So like it's the same problem of how I'm injecting the bindings, basically. All right, it's injecting them into the incorrect scope. Mm. Mm. It's because like entering the scope and then injecting the bindings is actually like not what's happening. I think like the entire way I'm injecting the bindings is supposed to be different. I'm supposed to not even call this function. I think I might need to like inject them immediately as I am constructing them. I think check bindings is being called, and I'm doing let. So like over here, I'm compiling the pattern, and since I am compiling the pattern, that's going to introduce the bindings from the pattern when I'm compiling it into the current scope. Would that make sense? Which means that I should also, like in this case, for example, compile the pattern after the value in a normal let macro, match template definition, which is where we have an argument to the function or to a template. Okay. Yeah. So how about this? When I'm compiling a pattern, inject binding, this thing should happen immediately. This thing should happen immediately when I am compiling a pattern. So I'm implementing compilable for pattern over here. When I see the identifier, this introduces the binding, right? So compiler scope is this, right? It's a compiler scope, so I say that into the compiler scope I'm injecting the name as a new binding. This is my binding. Compiler scope, insert the binding, and then into the interpreter scope I'm injecting the symbol. Sure. So I do that immediately. Does that make sense? Which means that inject bindings, and conditional inject bindings. All those things do not exist. When I say macro let, since I'm doing this immediately, I should do the pattern after the expression, and I do not need to inject anything anymore. This is a match branch, which is supposed to compile the argument here, which is a pattern. And this pattern needs to be compiled inside its own scope, right? That kast is self-enter scope. So inside this thing, I'm going to compile the argument and then compile the body with that. Inject conditional bindings. I don't need that anymore at all, I think. I also see the problem here with the else case. I was not using that stuff. apparently. I was compiling the else case inside the original scope. Found a bug. Okay. Template definition. The pattern needs to be compiled inside the inner scope already, I guess. Same as here. Oh, over here I'm already entering the scope. I just should not like that. That's injecting the bindings into self, which is also weird. By the way. Wait, is that weird? No. Unwindable. Compile body. Name is that. Not self, but guess that's a different name then. Let name in the body with this. Name and body. Now this looks like it successfully did everything. This is the panic that was supposed to happen. That's part of the test. Does it mean that all the tests are going to pass right now? All the tests are actually passing, no way. Does it mean that it's correct? If my tests are passing. I don't know. It might be. But I don't trust it too much. I fixed all tests. Maybe. Okay, actually not all the tests. There is one test that is ignored right now. Let's run the ignored test. To test args. Test ignored. Okay, so this is going to fail the test because panic did not contain the expected string. The panic message is that the output is different, but the expected substring is the context is not available. Let's see here. So I'm trying to test without unsafe context. So I'm commenting the line that starts with the with in the example unsafe, right? So I'm commenting this line here. And I'm doing just run examples unsafe, right? And it's printing hello, right? But it's supposed to not compile. Like the reason it's running right now, because I'm only checking the context in the runtime, but this function says that it must be called with unsafe context in scope, and it's not checked at compile time. It's only checked at runtime, but since I'm not using this thing actually here, right, I can make it fail by saying current unsafe and then like ignore it, right? Something, I don't know, let underscore be that to ignore it. That's going to say that unsafe context is not available, but this check is supposed to like not be necessary. It's supposed to be checked at compile time anyway. Okay, let's see how am I doing it at compile time. Expression call. Pretty sure it was over here. To do check context. Right here. Yes. Context is not inferred. Context clone. So like this context is the context that are required for the function to be called. I already know what's the type of context that I have in current scope. I think. Oh, we actually removed that check before, right? But if I say something like contexts, we did the new not inferred. What is context? Maybe not inferred. Context dot variable at check text. So in this case, the context is the context data context dot check available in the state. State is going to be kast interpreter. I don't know. Current contexts block unwrap, I guess, maybe, and then current contexts is kast interpreter context clone. That's like the reference to the mutex. I need to move this inside the closure. And then if I try to run this example, and it says nothing. Current contexts. Context check available. If I remove the checks here, oh, if true, return okay. Let's remove that. It says unsafe context is not available. Nice. Not giving me the full stack trace, because the add check is a function that like is doing this thing. 12-15 day 7 part 1 is so much shit. Let's take a look. Advent of code. I mean, there is some shit in Advent of code. Yeah. It's okay, they already have like this thing. They are ready. In 64 hours and 20 minutes and 45 seconds, it's starting. Down. So this is like the oldest one that is available. Let's see, day 7. Part 1. Bitwise logic is unfortunately little Bobby is a little under the recommended age range, and he needs help assembling the circuit. Each wire has an identifier and can carry a 16-bit signal. Signal is provided for each wire by a gate, another wire, or some specific value. Each wire can only get a signal from one source, but it can provide signal to destinations. Gate provides no signal until all of its inputs have a signal. They include an instructions booklet. Describes how to connect the parts together. A and Y, Z means to connect wire X and Y to an AND gate and then connect its output to the wire Z. The value from pointer P is left shifted by 2 and then provided to the pointer Q. It's like a programming language that you need to implement here. Is that right? The possible gates include OR. Either the test data or the test text is telling you that the end input can have one number. Plus, they don't have to be in the correct order. What do you mean the order of the end? Does the order matter for the X and Y? And input can have one number. What does it mean it can have one number? What is one number? X and X? Or what? How can it have one number? What does it mean? X and without the Y? Or what? It will always be X and Y, not 1 and Y? Why not? Here's the example that uses a constant instead of a variable name. Like the else shift is the same, right? But I guess like the else shift over here is the example also with the constant. I think like that's like the overall theme with the advent of code. Always, you are supposed to inspect the input. Like they are not telling you everything in the statement. Sometimes you need to inspect the actual input that is given to you to get more information. That has been like in multiple advent of code problems already. It's not the only one like that, I guess. I remember something from the last advent of code, but I don't remember which one was it exactly. Like literally, if you did not look, then the problem is like much harder or something. My result available is get assigned in line 7, but the result from my result is assigned in line 23. What does that mean? What is the signal that is automatically provided to wire A? Okay. Wait, there is no wire A on this example. Anyway, with the first and last highlighted line, XA. So what? So what? What's the problem? So LX is same as A, which means that this is your answer. So what? So what? It's because you're not like evaluating the code in order. That's what you're saying. Sure. Because you're connecting the wires. It's not. It doesn't say that it's supposed to be doing it in order. You were assuming things. You should not assume things. Why would you evaluate it in order? You're making a logic gate. Like when you are like soldering the thing, it's not like evaluating it in order or something. It's like the final build that like, calculating the shit. Something. Yeah. I wouldn't say that that example was is very annoying. There were a lot more annoying examples in other Advent of codes. I don't know how many of those you have been solving. Can't remember the specifics, but I was annoying before too. Should panic failed. Panic did not contain the thing. Context is not available. That's part of the message. Oh, starts with say with. This one is yeah like trimmed, and the line is yeah okay. Without unsafe context. Yeah, this one should panic. But it says that assertion failed. Because the output is actually empty. Because the expected output is nothing, and then we still panic. Yeah, it's because like I'm checking the output first, I guess. Test did not panic as expected. Wait, it did not panic at all. Why does it not panic? Currently, you did all of the 2015 until day 6 in Coca. Day 5, which involved hashing algorithms, which are not implemented in Coca yet. Day 4 used hashing algorithms. Do you need hashing? Day 4? You need to find MD5 hashes? You can just implement that yourself. What's the problem? That's easy, no? Well, you are going to implement that yourself in your own programming language that you are going to make, right? I mean, if you want your language to be useful, are you not going to implement the MD5 hashing yourself? Like, it's not hard. It's like how many lines of code is the MD5 hash? Like 2 lines of code? Or what? Actually, I don't know the actual algorithm. The input message is broken up into chunks of 5 12-bit blocks. The message is padded so that the length is divisible by 512. The padding works as follows. And to the end of the message, this is followed by as many zeros as are required to bring this thing, the main and the algorithm, all is on a 128-bit state divided by into 4 32-bit words. Pseudocode. What the fuck? Why is pseudocode that long? I thought it was like 3 lines long. What is MD5? Or just use the following pre-computed table. All right. I mean, yeah. It would be really nice if like you could just, since we have custom syntax and shit, what if I just could copy paste this algorithm instead of like rewriting it into my language? Just copy paste this as is into the code and then process this automatically to convert it into code of my programming language. There's not like many operators that are being used here. Should be not that hard, I think. That's why you don't want to do it myself. I mean, like rewriting this, it's not that hard anyway. There is no complex operators that are being used here. Everything is easy. All right, whatever. Why did my test not panic though? That's a question. The output is empty. Test unsafe without unsafe context. Test did not panic as expected. Why did it not panic? I just try running. Save. I am commenting the line that starts with the with. This is the only line. And it's supposed to panic like that. Test did not panic as expected. Right, fine. Let's say print. What the fuck? Did not panic. Boom, 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 boom. Test does not panic. What? No capture. Let's do comp time and hello. It's even been like printed. It's not. Like it's running a different code. What? Let's not comment lines. Okay. Is it because I'm commenting the lines incorrectly? Fine. Source. Print result. Okay. So now it's passed. Wait, is it because I was missing the /n? That's why. Because because I guess it was like the comment, because I have a comment here. I was not constructing this thing correctly. Okay. Understood. Found another bug in my testing. Another bug in my tests. Nice. So don't ignore this anymore, I guess. Just test. Test all the tests now. Now I have another test that is failing, the actual unsafe test. That one is failing. Worst programming language? Which one? Rust? Kast? Or what? There you go. All the tests are working. You're asking what is the worst programming language? All right, let's think what the worst programming language is. I mean, out of those that people use, or like at all, out of mainstream programming language. Like, I don't know. What do I think is the worst one? JavaScript gotta be there. I mean, they're all up there. I don't know. I think that we can we can try eliminating the things like JavaScript is pretty bad. Okay, yes. What else is there? There is also Python. What do I hate more, Python or JavaScript? That's a good question. I think I hate Python more actually. What else is there? There's also Go language. What do I hate more, Python or Go? I think I hate Go more. But you know, that's just me. They have some advantages over JavaScript for sure. What about F#? I never tried F#, but I mean, I was using C# before Rust. It was like, I think C#, like if I was not writing Rust before that, I thought it was like the best language out of those that I tried before Rust. So I'd rather C# than Go language or than Python or than Java or than JavaScript, sure. Gotta be C the goat? I don't know. No, I don't like C. C is like too low level. I don't like it. It means that I need to like, it's like writing in assembly. Why would I want that? Elixir is maybe fun, but Elixir, I didn't try it. But when I looked at it briefly, it said that it's dynamically typed, which means that it's bad automatically. Why would I ever want to write in a dynamically typed language? To have like typing bugs every minute. Haskell is good, but also I did rage quit Haskell, this project. We did try writing that, and it had Haskell at some point, and Haskell has a really bad tooling, like the language server is trash, and the records in Haskell are also trash. Other than that, the language is nice, I guess. But I could not stand the problems in Haskell. Like maybe the type system does, like like the pros outweigh the cons there. But yeah, language service trash on NixOS. It's not about the Nix. No, it literally said that it's not implemented. You cannot rename something that is used across the module. You can only rename like something that is only like a local thing to the module. That's what the implementation of the language server said. It's not a NixOS issue. It's depending on how you use the language server, I guess. And if you don't use it, then you don't have problems with the language server. You write assembly as an electronic student, it's not that bad though. Assembly is not bad. Assembly is a good language if you need to write 10 lines of code of assembly. But when you want to write like complex, like assembly is the ultimate example of the problem with simple languages like Go or like or any language that is like trying to advertise themselves as a simple language. It's a simple language. When you write big problems with it, it's becoming a big problem. The language itself is becoming a big problem, and it's blocking you from writing your big programs. Some people never rename variables. Yeah, you can also, like, when you're writing Haskell, you can also not name variables. Like, you can make your like, I think that's what a lot of like Haskell people are doing. Like when you like describing your data type, you do it with types only, and you don't give any names to your fields, which is why a lot of people don't have trouble with the records also, which I had trouble with, right? But like when I see a function that takes an int and then returns a function from int into int, that doesn't tell me much. I want to like know the meaning of the arguments, which is why I want to name them, which is why I want to use records. And when I use them, like the language becomes trash and unusable. All tests are working. All right. Anyway, all the languages are good, actually. Never mind. I'm just a hater. I hate everything, including Rust, including kast. Kast is also trash because it's not working yet. Can we make kast work already? That we can use it. What's the next goal? 3 days to Advent of Code. Should I try a simple thing in Advent of Code like before, since we have 3 days before it? There are some other missing parts. Like I don't have mutability right now, for example, which I kind of maybe want to have. Maybe I want something else. Maybe there's some other bugs that I'm not thinking about. Let's do this. Not quite Lisp. Santa was hoping for a white Christmas, but his weather machine's snow function is powered by stars. He's fresh out. Here's an easy puzzle to warm you up. Santa is trying to deliver presents in a large apartment building, but he cannot find the right floor. Directions he got are a little confusing. He starts on the ground floor. Am I not logged in? Down, 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 down. I mean, I only solved 2023, it seems. The Lisp task is funny. Let's see what it's about. He starts on the ground floor and then follows the instructions one character at a time. But open parentheses means that he should go up the floor, and closing parentheses means that he should go down the floor. The apartment building is very tall and the basement is very deep. You will never find the top or the bottom floors. For example, this will result in floor 0, and this result in floor 3, and this result in floor 3, and this result in -1, and this result in -3. What floor do the instructions take Santa? My implementation is Coco is 50 lines, including empty lines. How would I write that? Advent of Code 2015 1. All right, let's see. How would I write this code? So I mean, obviously I'm missing something, right? So first of all, I need to have the input, which means that I need to have file input output, right? So let's have file input output, right? Like read file input txt, right? And this is going to be like the input. You can store the input as a string. Yeah, I think like working with files is better than inlining that in the file. But I can do a comp time read file, I guess, and that it will be just stored as a string each compilation time. Okay, so read file is not found. Let's see. Standard library. I guess it's kind of similar to what? To like print. I would have something like read file is a string and a string with file system, I guess. I want to spell this out, or just want to say like fs file system. I don't know. Native read file. And then file system. So from native. Is that what I want? Let's see here. Next. Public function default file system value. That will just have the like read file like function there. Would be a native function. Read file. Simple. Argument is string, result is string. The thing is, this is the path, my argument. So path is a string, and then I say stdfs read path question mark read to string content is this. Okay, value string contents, right? That's the implementation. And then when I say default stuff, this is another just default context that we have. Default file system. We'll use this file sys as abbreviation for the file system effect. Okay. I mean, you will be able to like make aliases of your own, I guess. So it doesn't really matter what I call it, technically. We also like need to be able to have aliases for like multiple effects at the same time, right? If I want to have like the file system and like output, then I need to be able to combine them and into a single name. I think Coca has that, right? When you have you can alias multiple effects, right? to output. Insert type. File system is context. Default file system type. Word. Crap. Good enough. Native read file is not found. Because it's not a native read file anymore, because I have the context, right? Since I have the file system, it's not a native read file. I have the file system that is already like in my scope, right? So this is a function. This is a function from path into current file system dot read file path, right? That's what I do. Okay, and then it says no such file or directory because the input txt is not here. So this is the return type for my read file function. What a blast. A log global console div action. But I mean, you're not writing that, right? That's the like, that's when all the aliasing is like, yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's just like all the I don't know, the all of the exact effects that you have in your read file. Actually, like, why do you have in your read file function? Why do you have the console? Why do you need access to the console? Because all you need is to have the access to the file system, right? And then you also, I guess, you can throw exceptions because the file might not exist, right? Why does it have the access to the networking? Why does it have access to the UI? That makes no sense to me. Allocation, I guess, makes sense. Non-deterministic, yeah, I don't know, like it's like all the effects that exist in Coca are like listed there. Why would reading a file be non-deterministic? That makes no sense. Yeah, it's because IO. It's because IO is the effect that allows you to do anything. Yeah, that's why. IO is literally anything. I guess IO includes the non-determinism for some reason, though. I don't know why. IO is also net. Well, because IO is like literally everything. IO is net makes sense. Because networking is part of the IO. IO is like anything that you can do that is not pure. Let's see here, input txt. This should produce 3. Right? So I have read the file. I've read the file. How about I'm going to change this from input txt. I'm going to say this is Advent of Code 2015 1 input. And how about that? I will read file examples / Advent of Code 2015 1 dot input to the dot. Right? Print input. There we go. This is my input. So now what we need to do is we need to iterate over the thing, right? I need to make sure that I want to be able to iterate over the characters of a string. So how would I do that? For character in input, right? This says cannot finish parsing, expected a value. dbgc. So yeah. I mean, it shouldn't compile, but what is my problem here? The while compiling with context, handle not inferred into unit. Down. stdlib 124. stdlib 124. Yes. Inferred into unit. Type of the value. Because we don't know what this is. Okay. I think, first of all, we need to make sure that I have a character, right? Because this is supposed to be C character, right? I do not have characters right now. Character is not found. Is my language as fast as Rust? Of course no. It's not even compiled yet. Not into native code. You even have to implement a map type for yourself. Let's have this to be file system. File system. Okay, let's add the type, which is a character. We should have strings, we should have car. And same value. Value should be also character. Like that. Pretty basic. Implementing a map type. Map. Just using lists. Sure. And just find with on. Okay. Do they not have the map in the thing? No way. They don't? I mean, it's not a built-in, but like, isn't there a standard library not having those things? There's a heap. No, heap is the effect for allocation on the heap. Okay. Sure. Lib. std. Type num data. Array. What about this though? Well, here's a map. Oh, to do. Okay. I see. That's a good thing. That's a good implementation of a map, I guess. What about the set? Also to do. It's integer sets. Only integer map. What about the dict? Also to do. Everything, like, is there anything that's not to do here? Wait, even the mutable arrays are to do. What? This literally every single file here is a to do. Core. Is the list part of the core? I guess it is. Maybe order. Default types and div vector. And vector is different from the list. Okay. Delayed. Either list. Handle exception. Slice. There's also slice. Efficient views on strings. It says string slice. Okay. Inline. And this is like the JavaScript implementation of an int parse. Okay. Sure. Tell me that your language is not really nice without telling me. It's not really nice without telling me. Yeah. I mean that does okay. I mean technically it's like okay. Is this standard library considered part of the language technically? Value R C right F C with debug. Type of value car is type R. Show short. Type car is car. Make same. There you go. Display same car. Substitute. Interpreter built-ins R is R. Let's try running again. By the way, I forgot. Character is not found. Well, I mean, I need to make it available through the std now, right? So like something like const car type is native car. Okay, there you go. Biggest problem Coca has right now is that they don't have type classes interfaces. Yeah, that's why I didn't even start writing code in it, because I was about to start trying the language out, and then I saw that they don't have it. Yeah, that's when I stopped. Okay. So it looks like the this thing is for some reason compiling. Why does this compile? Because a for in is something weird, I guess. Let's take a look at the for loop. For loop is just saying the generator. I guess I need to do like the generator with a semicolon, something, so that it should result into a unit like this. No. Wait, what? Generator. like the generator right now, is the input, which is of type string, right? In input string. Comp time dbgc. Huh? dbg. Okay, maybe I need a semicolon here. No. dbg input. Expected string got unit. Wait, what? Where? Oh, because dbg. No. What? Input. String get unit. When compiling the 1 to 10 13, the thing in general. Wait, what? Wait, what are you saying? First of all, if I do this and I try running this, this says that it evaluated to the value of the input, which is wrong. I have a semicolon here, then it still does that, which is wrong. I think my syntax is incorrect here. Syntax. 4. 4 has the priority of 3. Let's have I don't know. Let's just quote this code and see like what it is. So our for loop value pattern is the C of type character, generator is input, and body is the dbgc and then dbgc. Wait, dbgc and then dbgc. Wait, what? Oh, comp time dbgc and then just dbgc. Okay, I see. That's right. That's the body. So it is being parsed correctly. If it is being parsed correctly, then why do you not work? I know why. I know why. Right now, I have a problem. If I say something like hello, this evaluates this thing to hello. If I say hello and then world, this is going to say that this first thing, because like I cannot ignore values at all, this first value must be a unit. So we have a compilation error, right? But if I have a semicolon without the second one, then it still is evaluating to the string. And that's the problem, right? Because this needs to like make sure that the overall result is unit. Let's fix that. Standard. Oh, compiler. Then crawl then. This is taking a list. Collect. Doesn't mean that collecting a list should have like do I have the trailing, like for the trailing commas, for example, in tuples, they don't matter really. They're the same, but for this for the semicolons, it matters, which means that it should give me the list of ASTs and whether or not Um, it was all binary. List collected. List is a vec of ASTs, and then all binary. It's all binary. True. Else. If B is none, all binary. It's false. Okay, list collected. List is a result. The match branch doesn't matter. For this one though, it does matter. Should I just say all binary like here? Or something, or maybe I say that this is my expression. Is the then expression I say if not all binary, then I say expression data type expect inferred be type unit, I guess. Okay, let's try again. If I say hello, A and B, expected string got unit. Wait, this is not correct. A B expected string got unit. Macro then. Built-in macro then. It is happening here because it's not all binary. Why is it not all binary? That makes no sense. All binary true. Binary false if B is none. print st yes node in st is not binary. I mean, wait, hold on. This makes sense. This is an error that was supposed to be there, and this is supposed to be there. This is not binary. Okay, actually, this was all already correct. Which means that if I okay, let me make sure that the tests are working still. Run example advent of code. So advent of code. This code is no longer going to compile because expected string got unit because like I have the type. So this thing should be unit, right? This LVM based. No, it's not compiled. It's interpreted right now. And also introduce the char type. But this does not work because so what I want here is I want to have something like in characters of the input, right? Or I can like something. Do I want to like so like right now the for loop needs this to be a generator expression that is yielding something. It could be a function called characters, and if it's not, then I don't know. Then I need to like have the into iterator trait, right? Like in Rust, which would or I guess into generator or something. Suyash, hello. Okay, I'm like just trying to see if I can do a test of solving an advent of code, the old advent of code of 2015. I need to implement some like basic stuff like reading files and iterating over characters in a string and other things, right? For character. Enter write a front end for Lua instead. For kast, I'm a Lua Pro. Alright, let's hide these comments somewhere deep where no one would look. Somewhere inside the tests. No one looks at the tests, right? All right. I mean, let's I mean, maybe I need to like rethink my loops right now. So the way my loop's working is that they're expecting to have a generator, an expression that is generating things. But instead, we should do something similar to what Rust is doing, right? Where when I see like for value in something in collection, right? Like do some like body, right? That should be rewritten into for value into like something collection as generator, right? Generate something like that. We switch to non-test Rust file. Have another comment. Living you keeping the code base documented. Non-test Rust file, sure. Can I let me create a Rust file. Odd comments. There we go. That's a non-test Rust file. Special for you. I know why I chose the horrible language Rust to implement this. Lua is my all-time favorite. Other arrays started in index 1. There you go. That's a dedicated file for your comment. So yeah, and to like implement then, how do we convert the string into the thing? Let's take a look at the standard library. I would probably do something like implement generator for string, right? To be generate is a function from string into so I guess this one is going to be like, I don't know, this one, since this is a native type, there's going to be like a native implementation of like iterate over a string. So the type of this is going to be string into unit with, I call it generator handler. Yeah, I guess I call it generator handler with a generator handler of type character. So like technically this is like a function that yields a character, which means that I can call it just yields, right? Instead of calling it generator handler. But okay, whatever. Let's call this for now, right? Which means that what is a generator in general? Generator is like a trait, right? So I should say that generator is a trait for self, which has the generate method, which is self into unit with generator handler of type self item. So what is the item? What is the item, right? That's the question. I guess like, so like this is where I need to have like associated types, I guess. I guess I did not have an example of the thing with associated types yet. Because, for example, for parsing, for the parse trait, I only need to refer to self, right? But then to be able to have the associated types in my trait, because the generated item is to be here. So like dot item is type, and then I need to refer to this, right? Like self as generator dot item. Does that like recursive thing work? Probably not. But that's how you do it in Rust anyway. Like the self as like the current trait, basically. That's what we would write in Rust, right? But yeah, it would be like nice if I did something different, which means that maybe I should return a recursive thing here. A recursive thing where item is type and generate is this. That's kind of like the thing, which means that I can just refer to this item since this is a recursive scope. Does that even work? I don't think so. 165. Can't finish impl underscore expected as. Oh, it's because not impl. No, it's implement string as generator. I'm trying to write Rust, but I have this in the other like order. I guess not string as string, string as generator. Right? Tuple infer to be unit. When I do impl kast at 165 over here, yeah. So this should be a thing where item is character. This should be a comma, not a semicolon, I guess. There you go. Function is not compiled yet. Which function? That's a nice error message. I should improve my error messages. Which function is not compiled? Do that. Function is not compiled when I'm doing impl kast. In built-in macro, impl kast, wait compiled. This is done. Kast result type, because I'm trying to figure out the kast result type, right? So I want to know what is it. I guess before trying to implement that, I should do something like comp time dbg generator string. And that is going to say that template is not compiled yet, right? So like I'm trying to like call this thing and this is not being compiled. So why is this not being compiled though? That's a question. Because why? Would you not find something here like self is introduced in that scope? Generator handler. We know that. We know item is literally over here. Let's do it without the recursive scope. Then it's going to be unit, which makes sense. Brick. I'm trying to think that like the recursive is like the recursive tuple, so like it should have like the same thing where dot item is type instead of using the lead bindings there. So this is not being compiled because it's waiting for something. I need to like understand what is happening here and to improve my error messages. Let's do it here. Comp time print 1. 1 is printed. Comp time print 2. 3. 4. So I'm not even getting into 2. Wait, what? I'm not even getting into 2? Why not? That makes no sense. So I'm not even like going in through the recursive scope. Why not? Let's see, compiler. So this is called macro struct. We are entering recursive scope and then I'm compiling the body. This language sucks more than writing assembly. Why are you being so toxic, Dev Ninja? Are you sad because I'm like because I'm not currently writing test? Nigel, hello. Okay, let's improve the async stuff and the way like what is it being blocked on? I want to know what is being blocked on, right? Yeah, that's what I want. So like you see, template is not compiled yet, but I'm not like I want to know what exactly are we waiting for, right? So what was I waiting for? Whenever I am awaiting something, it's mostly about, right now, I think the only thing I'm waiting for is me waiting for this scope, right? To be closed, to find the symbol in the scope here somewhere. Yep. I think this scope is the thing that should advance the executor. Actually, Let's have the executor. We extract it into its own module. Module executor. Use executor. Create module. Abstract executor. This derive phone. So this is like behind, it's just storing a reference counted executor inside. Impl executor, and then we have public function advance. This is going to have a IRE result like this. Try tick is what I'm doing here. So advanced executor would be just executor.advance then. Right, so this is while self inner try tick. We return OK. And then we have the function spawn. Function spawn should be able to spawn a future, which is impl future. Output is nothing. Plus static. That would be self inner spawn. Should also be send, I guess. Spawn f dot detach. So it should be send. With the advanced executor, kast executor dot advance. Kast executor dot advance. That thing should be question marked. Executor spawn. Type mismatch resolving. Result to nothing. Map error. Okay. I see. So I guess when I spawn something, it actually can return an error. That's right. Wrap. I cannot wrap error on this thing, right? Map error. This is that. I just wrapped the error that it could not compile the function, right? Like this. And then inside the executor, I will say that the output is going to be IRE result of unit. Like this. So when I spawn this, that should be f dot map error tracing error e, like this. That's all that I want to do, maybe. Drop executor advance. This returns the result. Executor new. Public function new. self inner is that. And then I don't need to detach anymore because that is like already done automatically. Okay, unused result here. Like this. Okay. I think this is going to be the same for now as before. Right? Its template is not compiled yet. Like the same thing, but if I say that in the executor, I need to basically I'm going to store the no. Yes. Advanced executor. IRE result. So like basically if I had an error somewhere, should I just stop immediately? I don't know. Maybe not. Let's for now just log them. Like it's the problem right now is that they are not even being logged, right? Right. And why is that? Because I'm not advancing the thing. I need to like make sure that all the futures that were there, right? Let me see here. Public function. I guess I just implement drop for the executor. I want to like drop the this for like after like for this thing. Executor impl. Extract executor impl. Self inner. Because I need to implement the drop for this. Executor inner dot self inner dot. All right, what do we have? Docs, async executor. To run until the given feature completes. Runs a single task. If no tasks are scheduled, it will wait until one is scheduled. Try tick. Attempts to run a task if at least one is scheduled. How do I know if there is something scheduled still? I guess they don't expose this API. Why tick considered to come harmful? Oh, is empty. If there are no unfinished tasks, there it is. I was literally looking at this. There's a thing that's called is empty. They're literally the first one. Returns true if there are no unfinished tasks. Okay, so I guess I will say something like self-inner dot tick runs a single task. And then it's waiting until one is scheduled, but I don't want that. I want try tick. I'm going to do basically while self-inner try tick. I do that, and then I say if not self-inner is empty, then I'm going to like panic executor still has unfinished tasks. Like that is supposed to not happen basically, right? And we're going to see it happening right now. This panic, right? Am I going to see it? No, it's saying that template is not compiled yet because like that panic is happening before this panic. Template is not compiled yet because like this should be giving me the IRE fail maybe instead of a panic. Crashed panic. Template is not compiled yet. Panic. Steadylib import failed. Oh yeah, it's because the steadylib import failed. True. True, because that is being like unwrapped and expected here. Okay, sure. Scratch. Should I like handle the errors here too instead of expecting stuff? I just say the wrap error question mark, and that should be like returning IRE result. Sure, let's do that. New IRE result. Self IRE result. Self IRE result self. Only std syntax question mark. Import impl. Wrap error question mark. Okay, kast. Okay, kast. Instead of this expect, we say wrap error question mark. Expect means I need to wrap error question mark. Import impl. New normal question mark from scratch. There is not failing. Cast new unwrap. I guess I need to like do that. Oh, cast new unwrap. Cast is cast new dot unwrap. No method named eval source. 60. New unwrap. Okay. I think this is not going to... Wait, no. Yeah, so like this is unwrap on an error value. And this is my error that the stdlib import failed. It doesn't really change much. Because I'm not evaluating the drop anyway, right? Wait, but am I not supposed to like drop it? Hold on, executor. Tick. Can I like print dropped executor? Like, isn't that supposed to actually run before the panic? I did drop it. I dropped it twice. Why did I drop it twice? Now that makes no sense. I'm initializing executor twice. Maybe. Why? But sure. So I did drop it. And then it's like... And it's not empty. So it does not have unfinished tasks. Meaning that all the tasks have been finished. Which is weird, because template is not compiled yet. Right? Let's see the spawn compile function body. Let's print here. Starting compile. Like I'm getting here, right? And I'm getting here there multiple times. Function compiled twice. WTF. File function body. What's happening when I'm doing the template definition here? Yep. Maybe a race condition. There cannot be race conditions. It's impossible. I'm writing Rust. It's like it says that there is nothing that is currently working, which means that the compilation the Mad Scarecrow and Saria M with a double raid. What? Which one of you do I shout out? Hello guys, how are you doing? Thanks for the raid. Today I learned someone who also streamed got a memory leak when writing Rust. Their TUI app consumed 2 GB RAM. Yeah, I know. Like I also like when I was writing Rust, like the only reason, the only time where I got close to like running out of RAM, I have 32 gigs on this machine, and the only time I got close to using all of the 32 gigs is when I was using NeoVim to write my Rust. It didn't happen since then though, but like that's part of the reason that when I was using the VS Code for a long time, because the NeoVim was like leaking memory for some reason. Or was it not NeoVim? I don't know. Maybe Rust Analyzer, maybe something else. Anyway, how are you guys doing, the raiders? Do you guys did what on your stream? I'm making a programming language here, and we are going to soon have the advent of code, right? In December. So I'm trying to like prepare for that and trying to like implement the missing things in these last 3 days of November. Last completion times gave me so many rage quits at work today. Sunday is the 1st of December. Yeah, yes. Sunday is the 1st of December. But we have the 3 days remaining, including today, right? Mm -hmm. And yeah, right now I'm like trying to make the loops, and I have some weird issue where I have like the template that is not compiled for some reason, and I'm not sure why. Did I shout out the first trader? I'm pretty sure that I cannot shout out them at the same time. So I waited. And now we're going to shout them out. There you go. Do, do. Better do a proper language then? I mean, Rust compilation time is bad. I agree. But even with bad compilation time, Rust is still 10 times better than other programming languages. You know? Devlin, yeah, you're going to like, you're going to resist the Rust, but we're going to convert you at some point. For sure. I need to sleep? Alright. Thank you for the raid again. Alright, so I'm trying to like improve my async stuff, where I'm supposed to know why the things are. Picorly, hello. The executor is not empty. The executor is empty. But if the executor is empty, it means that either I have had this error already, right? Let's have over here. Panic E. Like that panic is not happening, right? It's not happening. And it's not happening. This means that compile function body here. So this is me spawning this thing. It's supposed to like replace the body to be compiled now, right? So if this did not return an error, that means that this code must have been completed. The problem. What is the problem? Template is not Wait, what? Is not compiled yet, this thing. I've been advancing my executor. Sure. I love writing Java due to its superior effect system. I hate JVM. When did I say that? You realize that these things which you are putting as comments into my code is not me saying things, right? Picorli. Hello. All comments fully authored by the Kofi man. What? Yo, Picorli. Picorli. Hello. Hi. Firecat. Hello. Hi. Doing. Yeah, my Linux is not licensed. And my code is polluted by the people's comments like this one. It's all cursed. Cast result type. If this target is a template, then I'm waiting it to be compiled. No. I'm trying to instantiate the template at s3lib 166, right? So like this is the thing that I'm trying to like run. This thing is indeed supposed to work. Your own activate Linux was covering it perfectly. The problem is that this recursive scope has been closed actually. Right? How do I debug this? I don't. This is not compiled yet. But when is it being compiled? All right, let's try it to be REPL with no standard library, because then I can try this immediately, right? So like the generator is for all self recursive t as type. Let's just try that. Right? And then so like gen std string. std is not found. Okay, well, I mean I don't have the std. Wait, doesn't it mean that like this should not compile because I don't have std? Okay. While compiling instantiate template. Yeah, so like okay, that makes sense. So okay, so this actually like this is waiting for something. I guess for the std to be known. Let's try again. Let's say that this is something like native type gen unit. Okay. Sure. Let's try then. Let type be native type. And then I say this. Be the type. Gen this. And then it's not compiled yet. Okay, so why is this not compiled? Now that makes... Does this make any sense? So it's because I'm referring to something to the outside scope. So I'm waiting for it. But it only is a problem. Because this is a recursive scope. So if I try to do this, right? If I try to do this, but I will say that this is not recursive, then this will work. Why? And it's also saying that the executor is not is empty, which means that the compilation has finished. I should write what happens in compilation, right? Compile function body, this thing. Just my laptop is normal for cargo check to say fetch for 20 minutes. I don't know. I mean, did you check the thing before because you can like you are fetching something means that you're trying to like like fetch the dependencies, right? You can do check offline to only use the things that you have like downloaded locally. I don't know, maybe there is some trouble with your internet or something, but then it should say that it's like timeouting. I don't know. Zero complete, zero panic because there is nothing to fetch. I guess, I don't know. File a bug report. I never seen that. Okay, when I'm compiling this here, I'm going to say here, right? Print 1. This is the best way of debugging. 2, 3, 4. Yeah, 4, 4, 4, 4. Sure, let's do that. What no one knows, Rust got bought by EA. Const gen is for all. Recursive. That E is type. Gen. Okay, so it says 1, but then it doesn't say 2. Because cast compile body did not work. I don't get it. Let's do actually Rust log tray. I don't know, trace, sure. REPL with no standard library. All right, let's see here. Const gen is full t cursive let t is type gen. Okay, let's see what's happening here. I compiled gen. Compiled the make unit. Found gen in non-recursive. So I'm looking up type in over there, right? In ID 224. Look up type there. Compiled built-in macro template. Look at T. It is lookup, but it doesn't say found. Then the times I've rage quit Rust when there were other languages in the mix. Raged when I tried to use a WASM build for the first time, and raged when I tried to use C++ project with needed binding generation. So people should remove all other languages for the sake of my mental health. Test. Let's see here. Recursive. GB type. Const gen b for all. E gen. Comp time gen. Can I run? No std lib? I don't think I can this, right? Let's set the no std lib to the run. Hard Ronix. Hello, hello. Steady lib test yes. Okay. So we have this thing where I am looking. I'm looking for a type in the scope. Looking for this. If not, do a wait, then break. Tracing, trace, not awaiting. Break. No, let's just say that. Look up for this. Type is self type for that. Like it's important over there to know if it's recursive or not recursive scope. I'm looking for type in the recursive scope. Scope number 224. 224. New scope 224. When I'm closing scopes, am I not logging it? Close. Yeah, so go close scope self ID, right? 224. ID 224. I'm creating this scope. I'm looking type in there. I understand. So the thing is, this is easy. This is like a deadlock. It's not a race condition. It's a deadlock. The thing is, when I have a recursive scope, in general, I have recursive scope, and then inside of this recursive scope, I'm trying to like access variable x, right? It's going to say x is not found. Right now, this is saying this because I'm not inside a spawned context, so I'm not supposed to wait for the scope to close. That makes sense. But if I do this inside a function, if I do that inside a function, like this, and then I try to call the function, then the function is not compiled because this is never stopping, because I'm trying to find the variable x in this scope while so I'm blocked by itself, right? Right. So it's it's a weird issue. How do I fix that? Like I need to know if I'm referencing something. Right now I'm like I'm distinguishing between like this spawned like task and like the original task, which is why this is not blocking itself, but it's blocking itself when I'm doing it inside a function, because the function is being compiled, it's being compiled like lazily, asynchronously, or like whatever. And that's like treated differently, where it can like wait for things. And then it's trying to wait for itself. But it depends in which thing the I think I understand what I want to do. Like when I spawn ID. I will store the spawn ID basically. I think that's what I will do. Spawn ID. Okay. And then when I spawn clone, I will say that spawn ID is a new ID. And then over here, whether I should wait or I should not wait, it kind of depends on the scopes, and the scopes should know in which spawn ID they were created. That makes sense. It's not do await. I will be like spawn ID. Spawn ID. ID. This is going to be spawn ID. ID. Instead of do await, going to give you the spawn ID further. And over here, the do await, not awaiting. Spawn ID. So if I will not await if spawn ID is equal to self spawn ID, which means that I need to know the spawn ID of the scope. Which means that when I'm constructing it, I should give it spawn ID. Let's try that. I guess this should receive an optional spawn ID. And then I will say that spawn ID is equal to some self spawn ID, only then not awaiting. Well, I guess spawn ID map or true, because if it's none, then I'm supposed to like break immediately true. Spawn ID is equal to spawn ID. There's some confusing code that I'm going to like not like read in the future, I think. Maybe I should name these things differently, I don't know. Method eval source cast new rep. Just run. Just run. No stdlib. Test. Template is not compiled yet. Okay, there we go. So now it says that while compile token type was not found, right? So it actually can see that, but also it's not waiting for the recursive thing, which shows another error, another problem, right? Another really annoying bug in Coca is that they sometimes mix up the inferred and the expected type. I also have the same problem in my language right now, actually, but I'm too lazy to fix it right now. But yeah, I should like sort it out. I agree. It makes the error messages weird and annoying. Yeah, I should fix that. So there's other things to fix. Expected item types generated type. Okay, let's see. Standard library. Over here. So this now says that generated type, item is type. Is item type? Other things to fix. Should you implement at least one thing before it can receive fixes? I have so many things implemented already. Are you trolling? Unless we count like writing tests as implementation, because those I don't have a lot. That's true. Yeah, let's saw the DBG statement. You see how my standard library has 200 lines of code already? Okay, that looks correct. Generator string. Self into unit with item. An item is type. Means that this is type. Okay, here's the problem. This is like not the correct way to write the code anyway. So what I want to have is I want to have associated types to traits. right? A trait is just a type, right? So in Rust, I would say something like trait generator or like iterator, whatever. I'm doing the generator here, where we have associated type item, and then we say function generate, which is a method, right? From self into unit, right? And then like somewhere over here, we need to use like I don't know. Let's do the iterator. I guess iterator first, maybe. Iterator. Iterator. Next item. Self into option self item, right? That's Rust code. That's Rust code. So kast code for this is going to be just const iterator is for all self. And then this here, what is this? It should have next, which is a function from self into. I guess I don't have like mutable references, but let's say that it's just going to be called once. This is going to return option. We can like skip the option. What I want is to be able to refer to like self.item here somehow. So like, how do I do that? Right? I don't have the ability to do that right now. Do I? Like it should be associated thing, similar as the method itself. So like item is a type, right? Item is some type. So this, when I say self.item, but at the same time, the self here is a type, right? So types don't have fields like that. In Rust, so again in Rust, this would be self as iterator item, right? Like the most verbose syntax for this. So it's similar to the recursive thing. But I think what is item supposed to be in this case? Like, do you not know Rust? It's the item that we are iterating over. So like if I'm iterating over a string, then I guess if I'm iterating over a list of t's, then the t is the item of the list, right? So when I'm iterating over a list of t's, in every single iteration of the loop, I have the have this thing, type t. I think like there should be like a special construct for this in a language, I think. Maybe. Like I'm already treating self like as something a little bit special here, right? It's being used as like a fake value here, and then it's like checked when I'm implementing it. Self the keyword. Self is not a keyword, no. It's just an argument to this. You can name this whatever you want. In Rust, it is a keyword. Yes. For me, it's not a keyword. It's just an argument. So like for all is like a function, but a compile time function basically. So so I'm treating traits as a function over the type that they are implemented for. There is no association between self and item. Yeah, there is like no association. And like this association is created in Rust with like specific feature in Rust that is called associated types, right? Of traits. Because like when I'm declaring this, I don't know what is the concrete item. The concrete item is unknown yet, right? We know that the item should exist for the concrete implementer of the iterator trait, right? But the specific item is not known yet. But it depends on self, right? And when I'm implementing the trait for this, it should be there. How do I do that? Like I can have this association, but I cannot like right now the thing that I cannot do is I cannot refer to like the other associated items within the same definition, if that makes sense. Role can take a tuple. Yeah, it can. The first argument can be the tuple itself, and the second was the argument. What's wrong with that? What's wrong is that it's the same as in Rust. You would like implement iterator for like a tuple of vec t and t, because like you don't do it like this, right? You want to implement it for just a vec. It's supposed to be like calculated based on this type. The tuples here are they are going to be useful, but for other reasons, like for implementing trait, not just for a single type, but for multiple types at the same time, like the multi-parameter type classes in Haskell. What do I pass in as self when you want to implement generator functions which can yield? You pass the function itself. The function itself is the generator. So I guess the there would be, so like over here I'm trying to write like the generator for string, right? But I guess there would be a generic implementation for like function that just takes unit, returns unit, but the function that is yielding something, like it's going to be like based on effect, I guess. If it's a yielding function, then it's a generator. There's just a difference in syntax. No, like associated types and generic arguments for traits. Like, okay, there's another thing that you could do in Rust, right? You could make trait iterator, where the item is going to be the generic argument, right? That's kind of similar to associated types, but I don't know. It still is different. I don't know how to explain it. It's not how it's supposed to be. I think I should just be able to like have. I think I literally need to have like this self as iterator dot item. Like I should be able to do that. Let's try the iterator and see if this works. It would be nice if I could like comment out the entire blocks of code. I cannot do that right now. Let's implement this right now. This thing, the comment, the multi-line comment. I guess I need to go to the Lexer or something. Read comment. Read simple comment. Read multi-line. Read like, I don't know, long comment. Something. So peak must be slash and pick 2. Shit. Pick 2 must be a star. Skip character slash, skip character star. Read while. Okay. Let mute rev the I'm struggling to remember the difference between the behavior between trait T and trait type T, because like you can implement like basically you can implement only one iterator for a list of T, because type T is an associated type, right? But if T was the generic argument, then you would be able to implement multiple iterators for different like T's basically, right? Because those are different traits. So read while is going to be different here. Previous is C. Previous is, I don't know. I want to have 2 previous ones. Let previous 1 and previous 2 is prev. So and then it says like prev is previous 2 and C. Okay. And I want to stop if and I so read while I will return true, but if previous is equal to star and then a slash, I guess, then I return false. That's how I do it. Maybe. Okay, so over here, a standard library 165 over here, it says self as iterator. Iterator right now is not inferred. Because this is like not fully like defined yet, right? So I need to make sure that I can refer to it. Casting to not inferred is not possible. Dun, dun, dun. How do I make this possible? Why is it not inferred? Wait, why is it not inferred? It says that I'm compiling this function. Casting to not inferred is not possible. Macrocast casting to not inferred is not possible. So it's not saying that this is like the thing that okay, it's because it knows that this is a template, right? It knows that this is a template or something. And casting to is not possible. So the result type. Oh wait, result type is target is a value. It's a template or a type. Wait, but what is it? It's not inferred. Wait, what? Wait, hold on. Wait, what is not inferred? S? Iterator is not inferred. Lazy inferring field access type. Yes. Self as iterator. So iterator is not inferred. Why? That makes no sense. Does it? Sense? Because it should know that it is a template, I thought. Reached 100k crabs, nice. Should I make another channel point reward, which is saying waste 100,000 crabs instead of 10,000 crabs? Or like, what is it saying right now? Is it just wasting 1,000? I think it's too cheap. We need to make this one be like more valuable. Cast result type. This is being used in when I'm implementing cast. No, I'm not implementing cast. I am doing the cast over here, right? Because I'm yeah, doing macro cast. So cast result type, I'm trying to evaluate the value. I don't get it. What is it? Casting to not inferred. Not possible. It's because okay, hold on. It's because the type is not inferred, or what? Cast result type. Value. Okay, yeah, value must be known. Casting to not inferred. Okay, the target. Yeah, target is a value over here. This target. Okay, I'm looking at a different thing. compiler, macro kast. So over here, I said that the target is evaluating the target, right? I would expect it type be nothing. So it knows that it I don't know what anything means anymore. Can we just go back to game development and we and someone else makes cast for me? Yes. Nerdzel? Nerdzel saying that he wants to do it. Nice. Nerdzel. If you have any questions about what needs to be in the language, you can ask. If you have any questions how to implement things, then am unable to tell you that because I have no idea myself. Casting to not invert is not possible. Let's say here. Print cast target is equal to target. It's a binding iterator. Wait, what? Why is it a binding? Okay. All devnya he'll rewrite cast in Dart. If then you need, then yeah, my cast will be, that would be nice. Name it Dast or Cart. I mean, if we if we follow the same rules of how you came up with the name of cast, then it should be either Devast or Astinia or something like that. The name of the language, no? Why do you need the new language? I'm new here. Hello. Gatherer. It's because all the languages suck. That's why we need a new language. Because there is nothing ideal. And so we need to create something that is ideal. Right? Can we all call Mario Kart in cart? Yeah. All right, it's not going to be ideal, of course, right? If you want a little more serious answer, the but all the languages suck. That is a serious answer already. Everything sucks. Everything has a downside, right? But we can imagine something that has less downsides than the currently existing things. I can see it in my head, but like implementing that is hard. And then maybe I will be wrong somewhere, and we will figure out that the language that we're going to create is actually going to suck still. And then we'll see what we do when we get to that point. So the problem here is that when I'm evaluating this code, when I'm compiling this code, when I'm inside the body of this, iterator is a binding. I think that is just wrong, though. Isn't that just wrong? When I'm saying this is a const. Since this is a const, it must be known at compilation time as a value, and bindings are for things that are supposed to be available at runtime, which is a different thing. So like it should not be a binding. That makes no sense. Why is it a binding? Why is it a binding? It's because I am inserting it. I think I understand. I think I actually understand. Did I not change that just a second ago? Let's comment this. Go into the REPL and say something like function f is this into f, right? And it says f is not found. If I say recursive, right? And then I say .f, I say this, then I'm going to overflow my stack. Okay. I say recursive f be if this is a const f to this, then it's the same. Oh, then it says binding f is not a function. Okay, maybe that's the problem. All right, guys. I guess I'm going to figure this out later because I need to go help with stuff. Whatever I did here, nothing works. I did do something. Nothing works. All right. We'll get there. We still have like 2 more days before the advent of code. Okay, no one else is making a language as far as I see. You guys know anyone here? Have an idea for an audio coding library integrated with kast? What do you mean integrated? It's supposed to just be written in kast, right? There is no reason to integrate it with the language. I think. Unless whatever you mean by integrating. Oh, sure. I mean, you generate this by doing that. I mean, sure. Something like that could be done probably. If the language is going to work at some point. It definitely doesn't right now. Send you guys over here.
Zero thing they have there.
There is some C code
Really
being
sure
written.
Precisely they,
I think.
which file was it? This one, promotion C. Okay,
Oh, see you next time. Thank you for watching. Bye.
So they probably test those printf outputs here, I guess. Which it's not really. I mean, maybe they don't have reproducible assembly generation stuff. So they